tackling the topics everyone's talking about online. Share, engage, interact. This is Newsfeed Now.
And welcome into Newsfeed Now. If you stumbled upon our little show and you don't know exactly what we're doing, here's what we are doing. Let me break it down just a little bit for you. We're going to take 4 of the hottest issues right now on social media, the biggest stories. We're going to show you the stories and then break them down in a way that you can interact with us, and we're going to bring in live reporters from around the South to talk about exactly why this story is trending on social media or this website. We start here. The issue of immigration has become politically charged, from marches to walls to marquees. It seems most everyone has an opinion. In fact, on this program a couple of weeks ago, we showed you a grocery store ad talking about heaven's immigration policy and that hell has open borders. That message is now being found in a different location, a sign in front of a Southern church. Kelly O'Neill has the story.
When I first drove past the sign, I almost wrecked my car because I couldn't really believe that that's what I read.
Heaven has strict immigration laws. Hell has open borders. That's a message that was written across the sign for Apostolic Faith Church.
When you put that on a sign in a city that's so rich in diversity as Springdale, it is essentially a slap in the face to all the undocumented people that help make Springdale what it is today.
After reaching out to Apostolic Faith Church, this time through social media, we did receive a response saying that the word immigration has since been taken out. The rest of the message still remains. The chief building official for the city of Springdale tells me the city does not have control over the content a church puts on a marquee unless it's advertising another business.
Even with the word immigration taken down, we still know that that's the word that was there. That's what you meant to say.
A request for comment from Pastor Daryl Holloway was denied, the church saying it's been taken care of.
Some of my best friends are undocumented, and these are people that either go to school, have a career, and are doing a lot of good things in the community.
But this message isn't new. A family-owned Christian grocery store with several locations in southeast Arkansas recently dealt with backlash after customers argued a weekly ad mailer included the controversial political message. But it wasn't necessarily expected in Springdale.
People are more than welcome to share whatever messages they want to share on their church. That's their right. But just know that the community is going to stand up and is going to be vocal about it. So, I mean, everybody has the right to do whatever they want, but we're not going to stay silent.
All right, Kelly now joins us live from Northwest Arkansas where this happened. Kelly, we heard the folks there in that town talking about their shock. Off camera, were they a little bit more adamant? They seemed a little bit collected there. I have to assume, I've been to that area. I know how diverse Springdale is, whether it's the Hispanic population or, they actually have Marshallese people, the largest Marshallese population within the United States. Were they more shocked off camera?
Yeah, they were really shocked, especially because these people I spoke with grew up in Springdale their entire lives, and they were just shocked that, they thought they made so much stride in Springdale. The population is 36% Hispanic, so I think they were shocked that in 2019 that this message was put out, and they were definitely just taken aback, for sure.
Let's talk about this Apostolic Faith Church. Tell me about the conversations, maybe the messages that you talk to with them, the messages that you got. I'm on their website right now. Tell me about what you know from Pastor Daryl Holloway.
Well, we don't know too much about the pastor. They really only share their messages on Facebook, and I actually went up to the church, knocked on their door. No one was there. It's a really small church. So I messaged them over Facebook and said, hey, we would love to talk to you about what you meant. Did you mean this? And what will you be doing next? They basically said, no, thank you, but it has been taken care of. The complaints that they have received were only with the word immigration. So they said by taking out that word, it's taken care of and it's settled, and they would not like to talk to us. But, we did receive a comment on our Facebook page today saying that maybe they would have liked to talk to us.
Okay. So are they going to talk to you today? Could we expect a little bit more from this church today? And by taking out that word immigration, are they going to continue to have this sign there on that church?
I'm definitely going to reach out today and see if they would be available. I'm not sure how they are going to respond. I know they were a little bit upset about the story just being out there, in the public, but I'm definitely going to reach out and see if they'd like to comment again.
Kelly, real quick, I'm here on social media and I jumped on their Facebook page. At what time did you tell the story yesterday?
The story ran last night at 9 and 10 o'clock.
Okay. Did you notice on their Facebook page that they have a post that says Jesus loves the little children, all the children of the world?
I saw that this morning. I didn't see it last night.
Okay. Interesting stuff there. Again, right now, it is definitely talked about. Kelly, thank you so much. We appreciate that. If you get anything from that church, we will be sure to bring it to you tomorrow. I want to bring in Twitter right now. I asked a question on Twitter. Your thoughts on this? I've got someone at Woo Pig Brewery. Says, I thought heaven's borders are open to all who want it. All you have to do to get in is pray. R.C. Massey quotes the Bible in Revelations 21. God's word talks about having walls, gates, and a one-way entry. Jamie says, who cares? If you don't like their sign or ad, don't go there. Jeff disagrees and says it speaks the truth. If you want to comment on what is going on right now there in Northwest Arkansas, make sure you interact with us. Use the hashtag Newsfeed Now. You can follow me. It is at Aaron Nolan News. Switching gears, moving from people coming into America to a case of an Alabama woman leaving the United States and joining a terrorist organization. Federal lawmakers are now weighing in on Hoda Muthani, who left the U.S. for ISIS. Drew Petrimo has been following the case for us. Joins us from Washington on the differences of opinions from those in Washington.
When you go to war against your own country, you lose your citizenship.
Alabama Republican Congressman Bradley Byrne wants Hoda Muthani blocked from re-entering the United States. The 24-year-old left the country to join ISIS. Now stuck in a Syrian refugee camp with her 18-month-old son, Muthani disavows the terrorist group and wants to return home.
She made the decision in her own life to put herself and her child in that refugee camp. And I think she should live with those consequences.
But Tasni Motala, a fellow in the Thurgood Marshall Center at Howard University Law School, says even Americans who join terrorist groups have rights.
Just by going off and joining a foreign army or marrying into a foreign army doesn't necessarily strip you of your citizenship.
Motala says that requires a court process, which has not yet happened in the Muthani case. And not everyone agrees Muthani should be prevented from returning to the U.S. Some lawmakers argue allowing Muthani to stay beyond the reach of the American system of justice sends the wrong message. One of them is Alabama Democratic Senator Doug Jones, Byrne's opponent in the state's 2020 Senate race. In a statement calling for Muthani to be prosecuted in the U.S., Jones said it would send a powerful message that any American who lends support to a terrorist organization will be pursued to the fullest extent of the law. But it may never come to that. Right now, the government is arguing Muthani was never a citizen, based on her father's status as a foreign diplomat when she was born.
Now joins us live from Washington. Drew, looking at your story here on paper, hearing it there that we just showed, there's a lot of things that really need to be ironed out in this case when we're talking about the legality of everything that has happened. Give me a time frame on when you think that could happen.
Well, there's been a federal lawsuit filed by the family and by Hoda Muthani herself challenging the notion that she is not a citizen, which is what the federal government is trying to argue. So there's basically two issues at play here. One is whether or not Hoda Muthani was ever a citizen of the United States. The federal government argues that she wasn't because her father was a diplomat at the time she was born. Her family argues that her father was no longer a diplomat and therefore she was in fact a citizen. That has to kind of be sorted out first. Then, as you heard in the story, there's another argument over whether an enemy combatant such as her should be brought back into this country to stand trial under the American justice system, or basically left to wallow in what is a squalid refugee camp in Syria.
You know, that's interesting. That part of this is that there are so many stripping citizenship, meaning that she would not be allowed back in the country, but also, does this family want her to come back to stand trial in a case like this, or is this just come back to the United States and live as if you were living?
No, and I think even people on her side acknowledge that some prison time might be necessary for the crimes that she's committed. Nobody is really, at least publicly, trying to excuse what she did. Everybody, even her lawyers, say that it was a terrible mistake and a serious decision, and she deserves, kind of to be in front of a court of her peers, to a jury of her peers, to make a decision on what the proper punishment for that is. But their argument is that she is a U.S. citizen and deserves that type of protection under the Constitution, and they're willing to submit her to that.
Is she still a member of ISIS?
Well, I don't know that they have an actual. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm in the United States Capitol here, and there's a tour group coming through. That's okay. But she says that she has renounced the terrorist group and that she is no longer a part of them. Now, there's not an official, sign-up sheet where your name is listed publicly and you're either accepted or you're not accepted. But there's no doubt about it. I mean, she went over there. She married 3 different ISIS fighters. She tweeted and she threatened to burn her passport. So she definitely committed to the group, unofficially as it may be. Why does she want to come back? We don't have much more time. Is this fear on her part, or is she, renouncing what she renounced? ISIS versus America. You can't get inside of her head. This is what she says. She says that she renounces the group. She made a big mistake and she wants to come back and tell people why she did. Other people will point out that she only did that after the ISIS caliphate was disintegrating and she was basically part of a group that was losing power and basically disintegrating. Drew Petchman reporting. Drew, thank you so much. We appreciate that. We'll let you get back there to the national capital. Appreciate you. All right. There are more than 100 types of cancer. In 2018, an estimated 1.7 million people had cancer. It's got no bias, no prejudice. It can be deadly. Some can be treated. In Louisiana, a teen is battling one of the rarer forms of cancer, and it wasn't until after a car accident that he was diagnosed. Our Megan Kelly has more.
Epithelioid hemangioendothelioma, also called EHE, is a very rare form of cancerous tumor. Now, the tumors most commonly appear on soft tissues, the liver, lungs, and bones, affecting only about 2% of kids and teens. 18-year-old Traylon Broussard can't move around very easily these days. He's confined to crutches as he undergoes radiation treatments.
They thought it was just like fracture or something, and like just inflammation in my leg. Turned out it was something else.
Traylon was in a car accident in May 2018. His knee began to ache a couple of weeks later. After months of testing, MRIs, and biopsies, doctors eventually found tumors.
Turned out to be my whole leg, all the way to my toes.
In November, he found out the tumors were cancerous, and he was diagnosed with epithelioid hemangioendothelioma, a cancer mostly affecting young people.
There's many nights I cried on my mama, cried days, and I knew crying is not gonna help. So, all I do is pray.
His mom, Tamika Broussard, didn't want to be on camera, but says prayer is essential to helping her son through treatment.
Me as a parent, it's hard for me, but it's harder for him. I have to keep my strength for him, and that's what I do.
After his radiation treatments finish, Traylon says doctors will remove the tumors surgically, but says there is a risk they may have to remove his entire leg.
That's why I just pray that everything works.
Megan now joins us live. Megan, obviously this is not the news that any family nor any teen, anyone wants to get. Is he taking this in stride right now and hoping and praying for the best possible outcome?
Absolutely. I think talking to him, the relationship he has with his mother gets him through. She is clearly the backbone of that family, constantly praying. The biggest worry they have is losing the leg. Losing the leg, that's a real possibility. He's an athlete. He plays football. So, but I know that his mother has just been really strong, and God's will be done was kind of their mantra.
How old is Traylon?
He's 18.
So at 18 years old, is he kind of making that transition from high school to college?
Yeah, he is. And he's stressed that, throughout all of his treatments, he's going to be in school. He's taking online classes, but he wants to graduate on time. He doesn't want to fall behind.
Yeah, obviously, again, this is one of those situations where, I said this a few weeks ago, but cancer sucks. There's no other way to look at it.
That's right. That is right. And I know he feels that way. He's kind of barricaded himself in his room. He's very paranoid about getting sick right now, but he's got a lot of support from friends and family during this time.
What are doctors saying? Is there hope that maybe this leg can be salvaged, can be saved?
I think so. They told him they can't give any odds right now. They're just shrinking the tumors with radiation. So until his round of radiation is over, they don't really know. Losing the leg is obviously the last step that they want to take. But for now, they're optimistic. It's just kind of a waiting game.
Megan Kelly reporting for us. Megan, thank you so much. Appreciate you taking the time here on Newsfeed Now. Talk to you soon. Snakes. I hate snakes. Anybody name the movie? Steve, can you name the movie?
Snakes in the Plane.
No, Raiders of the Lost Ark. I've had it with this blanking snakes. What is that movie, Steve? That is snakes on a plane. Well, the high waters in Tennessee are causing some slithering concerns. Snakes climbing in trees and showing up at parks. As you would expect, Facebook was cold-blooded and showed us the scaly scene. Dave Detling has more.
It's the story of an Overton Park snake.
I thought it was at least like 5 or 6 feet.
Enough to make you want to keep off the trails?
Yes.
I thought it was maybe around 7 feet, maybe 10 feet. That is huge.
You can see in the photo the snake is high off the ground, wrapped around tree branches. From this vantage point, it looks massive.
By looking at the image, maybe 4 to 5 feet.
But Steve Ballou, the man who snapped the photograph Saturday while marking trails for a running club, says it's all an illusion.
I was trying to keep my distance to keep from disturbing them because they're in their own habitat, so I was not getting any closer than I needed to, and everything. So I zoomed in on it, and when I zoomed in, apparently it made it look like a monster.
That monster, according to experts at the Memphis Zoo, was a rat snake, no bigger than 3 feet.
The rat snakes like this one like to go up in trees. They like to eat birds and move around off the ground, whereas the copperhead would be more on the ground. So it's more of a rat snake thing to be up in the trees.
And you heard that zookeeper mention a copperhead. Ballou also managed to photograph one in the same spot as the rat snake.
You're going to see them, but they're part of the environment, and they're a good thing. They help control the rodent population.
All right, Dave joins us now live from Memphis. Dave is actually on the scene, on location, searching for that snake once again. Are you seriously back in the same park looking for a snake?
The same park, different location,
Okay.
but this just goes to show that when you're in any type of park, you have to look up, down, all around, because you never know where these slithering critters can be hiding, and that definitely held true for that man that you heard from. He was just marking cones, and he saw one just tangled around the branches.
I'm looking at the picture now here, Dave. I'm sorry, and I'm not an expert, but this does not look like the same snake that Memphis Zoo was showing you. I got to be honest.
You know what? As that zookeeper said, it is all about perspective, and he likened it to a fisherman. The fish that got away.
Yeah.
It's all about perspective. Had he had a quarter next to that snake, it may have brought a little more perspective to it. And he said, true to his word, it was only about 3 feet. So It's all about perspective. He said he zoomed in, so he must have a really good camera.
Yeah, I'm not sure I want to zoom in that close to that cold-blooded reptile. All right, so how are folks responding there in Memphis? Obviously, you see something like this. I know anywhere in the South, you see things outside like this. You respond, people talk, and there's a lot of sharing and a lot of liking and unliking going on.
Yeah, and everyone, like you said, they're questioning the size of that snake. But you know what? The real deal is the man who saw it. He said it was 3 feet, but a lot of people, what they're more concerned about as they walk these trails, you can see them in front of me, they're just concerned about their dogs, and that really comes down to the copperheads. That snake, the rat snake, not going to bother you, but the copperheads, those are the ones you're going to have to watch out for, because dogs, they like to sniff around, and if they go into a burrow, right onto their nose. So that's really the concern in the park.
All right, Dave, I know you're getting your walkout, but watch out behind you, man. They're right behind you. Yeah,
All right.
yeah, I got you.
You got me.
I got
You
you.
got me.
Dave,
You
thank you
got
so
me.
much from Memphis. We appreciate it, Dave. Thanks for taking the time. I told our producer, Matt Sewell, I wasn't going to bring him on camera. I lied. I'm going to bring him on camera anyway. Matt, you see a snake like this while you're having your morning or afternoon or evening jog. What are you doing?
I run away.
That's the fastest I've ever seen him run. I didn't even know he could move like that. Wow. But again, looking at this snake, look, guys, I'm staying away from that thing. I don't know about you, but it doesn't matter if it's poisonous or not, and I know it's okay. Don't you always get that tingly feeling like you just want to get away.
Yeah, no. I'm going to bring in a special guest here, Nathan, our prompter operator here.
Okay.
He has a snake.
Wait a minute.
He's a crazy person that actually owns a snake.
You own a snake?
Well, actually, no, I don't. Oh, where are you? Okay.
It's all right.
I don't own it, but my sister works at a pet store, and this guy brought in a 3-foot boa.
And so you have it now?
Oh, I just played with it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. Our new associate producer just plays with snakes. That's just what happens here on Newsfeed Now. If you want to comment on anything you've seen today, make sure you interact with us. It is Newsfeed Now. Use the hashtag. You can follow me at Aaron Nolan News. If you want to get in with our fear of life snake runner in there, Matt Sewell, follow him. It is Sewell_Matt. Sewell_Matt. 2 L's on that one. Have a great day. Thanks for joining us for Newsfeed Now. We'll see you right back here on your smartphone or your tablet. Later, guys.